So you guys are going to do a realistic drawing from observation. Is to start by not thinking about I have to draw a rabbit, but by looking at the basic shapes that make up whatever it is you want to draw. And this goes for an animal, but it could go for anything. I really like these books, these step-by-step guides, because they help you to break things down, like this rabbit's broken down into some circles, and then lines are connecting, and it shows you step by step how to build up something that you want to draw. Your other challenge is going to be composition, which means how are you going to arrange your animal on this size paper to get it to be as big as possible, because a little tiny rabbit is not as strong as a composition as one that would fill up the whole page. Okay? So even if you have one of my other drawing books, like this one, you could still look at this and break it down yourself into shapes. So maybe you would start with an oval here, and another oval for the back end of the body, and some ovals for the upper legs, and some lines. I always think about, when I'm drawing, a grid, as if you can imagine some vertical lines that are straight up and down, and some horizontal lines over the top of what you want to draw. And that'll help you to get the shape and proportion of what you're drawing on your paper more accurately. So I notice this leg is vertical. This upper part of the leg is at like a 45-degree angle, and the bottom part is vertical. 45, and then this is not quite vertical, it's a little bit off to the side, it's not quite 45 degrees. So when you're thinking about drawing, if you think about a grid and comparing the lines and shapes that you see, can help you to get them more accurately. So I'm going to use a Sharpie so that you guys can actually see. I'm going to start with the littlest part of the head, leaving room for those ears still, which I see as a vertical, and not quite a 45-degree angle, but not quite vertical, so tipped off to the side. I'm drawing really lightly. Really lightly. And you guys will be doing pencil. The next circle is going to be in here. I'm not worrying about if it's exactly perfect. The next one is going to be down here. And then I can add the curve of the nose, connecting these lines. This isn't exactly straight. I notice that this contour curves in and then back out again slightly. And here I notice that this bumps up and then back down towards the back. Okay. And then the feet are going to kind of be in here. I notice, see this little space in between the feet here? Artists also talk about positive and negative space. Not good or bad, but the positive space is the thing that you're drawing, the rabbit in this case. The negative space is any spaces in between, like in between those little feet there. So artists know to look at the negative space as well, the air space, like the shape in between the ears here. If I get that shape drawn fairly accurately, then I'm much more likely to have the positive space, the shape of the ears, drawn accurately as well. And the negative space down here, when I look carefully at that, I see that the top of the foot kind of curves up. It's not totally horizontal, it's kind of at an angle a little bit. Like, if you ask yourself honestly, as you're drawing, could my animal be bigger? Then make it bigger. We have plenty of paper. You can start over again. But don't start in trying to get to this step, making it oh so perfect at the beginning. Really break it down into shapes and go through this phase, because if you get here and you see that you don't have a strong composition, it's much easier to say, okay, I'm going to start again. A nice composition where the positive space fills as much of the paper as you can, then you can add more of the details, the eyes. You can add shading, and definitely you guys are going to be working with texture on this project. So the texture of hair. And as you add to the contour, you might say, hey, well, this isn't really a straight line at all. It's a jagged line that shows how fluffy the front of this